everyone, it's Ginger from stampingthecape.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I was inspired by a project I saw done by Erica Serwin at Pink Buckaroo. And when I had looked at the little swirl on the Hello Cupcake stamp set, I thought of hair, but she had a real clever idea and she created this really cute leprechaun. So I decided to pursue my idea, and I came up with this little clown gift card holder. And you can just slide a little gift card in there, put a little sentiment and a little message up here. So I'm going to show you how I made that today. And remember, Sale-A-Bration is going on through March 31st. We actually have already sold out of the I believe it's called Hopping Along, or the dies that go with the frog set. You know, if you want some of these products, you might want to get them sooner than later, because you only have until the end of March, and it's while supplies last. So what I've got is a 3-inch by 11-inch piece of this is Gorgeous Grape. And again, for this project, you know, if you have the dies, you can use any cardstock or any sentiments that you like. But this is what I'm using. Excuse me. And it's scored at 3 and at 7 inches. And I'm just going to fold that up. My bone folder here. Make sure those are nice and square. You can hear my chair creaking. And hopefully I can get through this without a major disaster. And then this paper is from the How Sweet It Is Designer Series paper. It's the one that has the candy dishes and whatnot. And so that's the one I'm using. So I'm just going to snail that on. Oh, good. I've run out of snail. You know what? I'm just going to go to my big gun so we don't waste any more time rather than reload it. So that's going to go on there. And that just has like a scant 1/16 of an inch border. You can make it larger, smaller, whatever you want. And then on this side, I've got another piece of that same DSP, and I'm using the stripe, and that's going to go here. And these pieces measure, this measures 2 7/8 wide by 2 7/8 long, and the other piece is 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. But I'm going to have a free PDF on my blog. There'll be a link here to my blog post where you can download the supplies and the measurements. Okay, so now let's do some stamping and die cutting. So let's see, that's for the inside. So on this is a piece of real red. I thought, well, clowns' heads are real red, and that's the color I went with. I didn't necessarily go with the colors that coordinate with the DSP, or like Melon Mambo. But to me, a clown has red hair, so that's what I went with. So we're going to stamp what would be the frosting piece. And I'm going to stamp it off to the side because I'm also going to want to punch out his nose and do the little hearts when I die cut as well. Oh, you know what? This stamp for some reason needs a foam pad. I don't know if you have this and have found an issue where it misses a spot. So I'm going to do that again. I keep forgetting this particular stamp works better with a foam pad. There. All right, so we've got our head, and I'm going to die cut that out, and I'm also going to die cut out of the dotted pattern. This is from the 6x6 Regal's DSP pack. I'm going to cut that out with the dies and this piece as well. So let me bring the Big Shot over. Make some room here. Okay. So we're going to need to cut 3 of these little heart pieces. These are the ones that I think it's sort of like a little heart you would stick into the cupcake, but I'm using them for the eyes, and we'll use it for the mouth as well. So I've just taken a long piece of 1 inch by 8.5 inch Whisper White, and we'll cut all our white pieces out of this. So I'm going to need 3 of these, and you can see my magnets jumping around. And I'm going to need 1 of these. Just love when that happens. And then out of the real red, we're going to cut our 1 set of these little hearts. And again, I'm leaving space so I can punch out, punch a 1/2 inch circle out of that. And if this jumps around too much, you know, you can move it around to meet, well, I don't know why these magnets do this, but they do that. Hopefully you can see this in the, and so what I'm going to do, just for safety's sake, is I use this removable adhesive tape, just so you don't have a shift when you're die cutting, and it just gets frustrating when that happens. So let me line that up. And that one doesn't matter because I just want the hearts, and for now that one doesn't matter. And then we're going to do the yellow piece, which is this, and we'll be cutting off this little, I don't know, dust shadow patch, so we don't need that. So that's everything I need to cut. We will have to cut 2 more of these little hearts, but for now that gets most everything cut. Okay. Put these over here. Hopefully I don't lose those little tiny hearts, because they can easily get lost. And then we're going to cut 2 more of these hearts. And as I said, Sale-A-Bration has about 3 more weeks. So hopefully, and if you didn't notice, they did add some additional items with the $50 purchase from the annual catalog, and they also added the Designer Series paper that previously you could only get when you did the Painted Seasons bundle, which was the stamp set and the DSP, but now you can get the DSP separately, so that's kind of nice. Okay. All right. So we've got our die cutting done. Let me get that out of the way. Okay. So we've got our hair. Got our hair, we've got our bottom piece, which I'm going to trim. Let's see, I'm going to put that right there so we can see all the pieces. And we've got our 3 little hearts and our mini hearts. And I think that's everything. Okay. Oh, I forgot. There's always something. I forgot to cut out the most important part, my face. And that is with the layering ovals. Gosh golly. How could I have forgotten that? Well, not surprised. And I'm using, for the ovals, let's see. I'm using this one. Let me measure what that size is. Get these dies out of the way. That appears to be, let me make sure that is the one before I... Nope, actually that isn't the one. It's the next one down. It's the small one. It's that one. So that's the one that measures on the outer dimensions of the die. It's like 2.5 by 1 5/8. So if you have those dies, that's the one I'm using. And that's the outside dimension of the metal piece. Hopefully I've got everything else. I just have to punch that little circle. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure I brought out the 1/2 inch circle punch. there it is. So I'm going to also punch that out so we have that available. Okay. So I built the face separately from the front of the gift card holder because I wanted to make sure I got everything in place correctly. So what I did was, to make sure I had enough room for the eyes, I took my hairpiece, and laid it where I thought I was going to put it, and I just lightly drew a pencil line. Oh gosh, is my head getting in the shot again? I slightly drew a pencil line because I want to make sure I have enough room with these eyes to draw the black outlines and whatnot. So I'm going to use glue dots. Before I use the multi-purpose liquid glue for those, which you can use, but for speed I'm going to use the glue dots just to stick them on. So I want to make sure I have enough room, like I said, just to draw those little lines, eyebrows above the head. Okay. All right. And then I'm just going to take my basic black marker, and I'm using the fat end, and this could be a little tricky, but hopefully it'll work out again. And I'm just going to trace right on the edge of that eye for his eyebrows, or her eyebrows, the clown's eyebrows. And then I'm going to color a little oval in the center, and then like a little, they usually have these little tiers, and then I'm just going to put one up here and here. Okay, so then we're just going to use a mini glue dot for the clown's nose. We'll stick that on. I don't know, I think it's kind of cute myself. I looked at a lot of different clown faces, a lot of scary clown faces out there. Kind of creepy with Pennywise and the It movies. All right, so on this little tiny heart, I am going to use a teeny weeny drop of the multi-purpose liquid glue. You can use the fine tip glue pen for that. It's a little bit larger than required for a glue dot. So I'm using my take your pick tool just to hold it. And I just want to put a teeny tiny whoop, dot, which now I've got more than I need. There. Good go. Okay. And we're just going to place that in the center of that mouth. And I can use my pointy end to shift it around before it sets, hopefully. There. Okay. All right, so now I will use a glue dot to stick that mouth on. And I'm going to place it kind of low because we are going to, you could cut off this little tab on the bottom if you wanted to. But I just left it there because it's going to get covered up anyway by the rest of the costume, if you will. And I'm going to trim off this little shadow piece, dust piece, what have you, and I'm going to glue right at the top this little collar. So I think I will stay with the multi-purpose liquid glue at this point. Again, you can use whatever you prefer, but it's just a little fine line that's going to hold it there. And hope I'm not getting my head way in the shot. Oh, golly. Okay, so now this is going to go like this. I'm just going to put some glue around the bottom area, and then when we put it on with dimensionals in the back, that will hold all these pieces together as well. It'll reinforce all these connections. Oops. And let me just get a little piece of paper towel to get that little piece of glue out of there. Oops, there goes my shot. Not centered anymore, I'm sure, because I just bumped my table. Okay, and then we're just going to glue the head on. And you could snail this on, but since I have my white glue, that's what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to line it up with that line that we drew, or you could erase that line if you wanted to. So there's our little clown. So now I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this to, and then you can put them on each of these connections to make sure that everything is secured together, since some areas you don't have a lot of glue on it, but it should stay. That multi-purpose glue, once it dries, it really holds really well. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so now the sentiment I'm using, as I said, this is the Hello Cupcake stamp set we're using, but the sentiment I'm using is from the Itty Bitty Birthdays, which is in the Occasions catalog. I mean, you can use any sentiment you want, and it's this one, it's sure to be a fun day. Okay, as always, I thought I had everything in here. It's not here, right? Oh, it is. I put it away. All right, we'll just use this block for now. And I'm going to use the remainder of that Whisper White that I had, and I just stamped that in Memento, but you can use whatever black ink you have. You don't need anything special for this, or any color you want to use. And I'm going to leave a little space on this side for the punch. I'm using the new, oh golly, what is it called? It's the punch that you can purchase that coordinates with the Sale-A-Bration coordination stamps. It's listed on my PDF. Let me see, what is it called? Oh, actually, I didn't list it. Oh, I guess I got to update that too. But it's this particular punch, and I'm just using a section of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the paper in from this side, get it in between those grooves, and square it up. And I don't need it too long, so I'm going to punch it right there. And then I'm just going to trim it off, because this is just going to get tucked behind the clown's head. And we can put a dimensional on the back of that to hold it in place. And again, you can use any sentiment. You could just use a straight piece. You don't have to use a punch. Actually, I'm going to make that a little bit, it's going to stick out a little bit, but that's okay. Okay. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to put an extra dimensional just to make sure that piece is propped up there. Stick one more here. I guess I should have punched it a little bit further. You know what? I can see. Can I still do that? Let's see if I can move it over a little bit so it's not hanging out as far. We'll see what happens. No, I'm just going to leave it be. Let's not get too anal about it. All right. So we're right there. Okay, and then I've added some of the artisan pearls. And you, again, any kind of embellishment that you have, if you'd like, if you have sequins, if you have any of the enamel dots or anything. This is just what I happen to have close by, so I decided to use those. And let me get my, take your pick. And because some of these colors do coordinate with the dots that are on the paper already, so I thought I would keep up that sort of theme of those dots with the teals and the yellows and whatnot. Let's see, put another one down here. But like I said, you can use any kind of embellishment that you like. Okay. So that's those. So now on this side, in order to be able to get your gift card in and out, I'm using this is the largest circle punch we have now. It's a 2¼ inch circle punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and center it in between the two sides of the cardstock, and about roughly halfway down, I'm going to punch. Sure I am. I think the last time I did this, I punched the circle out and then punched through the DSP. So I think that's what's giving me the problem. So I would recommend punching this half circle out first out of the cardstock, and then I'm wondering if I can peel that back a little bit, and then punching the DSP. It wasn't, once again, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So let's do that. So you really should punch this. Let's see if I can find that line. There it is. Really punch the cardstock first. Golly, why isn't it punching at all? There we go. We have jam, I think. All right, third time's a charm, as I always say. Usually takes me 2 or 3 times. There we go. So now put your cardstock on, and then you'll be able to punch through just the paper. This is gonna. Never fails. In front of the limelight, I mess up. Come on, let's get it squared. Okay, good enough. All right, so now we're just going to follow this line and punch this out. Hopefully I haven't messed up my punch by trying to force it through. There we go. There, that's the right way to do it. Okay, so we're going to put tear and tape just on the very edges, right up against the edge here. Whoops, there goes something else. I really need a larger table for this. So I'm just going to put tear and tape right along, whoops, there goes my head again, sorry. Right along this edge. And I'm going to use my scissors because I want it right on that edge as far as I can get it. Why don't we do it this way so I can start at the edge, and it'll just give you enough room to slide that gift card in. You might even be able to fold up some money if you were giving money and slide it in there as well. Sometimes I do like to give money. Some of the older kids don't want to be stuck to one place to shop, so cash is always good. So we're going to take that off. Take that off, and we're just going to attach that there. Now I have put a link to these little. Let's do the upper piece first before we seal it up. So I'm just going to stamp on here. I'm using the Sprinkles stamp from Hello Cupcake, and I've just done it in the Real Red, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, and Crushed Curry, just to sort of bring out the colors from the Designer Series paper. So, and I've only stamped it just one time. So we'll do here, and make sure you clean your stamp off in between each one. Crushed Curry. Crash. I keep knocking things over. Let's do it in a different direction. Okay. Gorgeous Grape. Granny Apple Green. There. And then I'm just going to take my black ink and stamp the Happy Birthday. And again, this is from the Itty Bitty Birthdays stamp set. And we'll attach that to the front, to the top of our card. And we don't want to attach it right to the top because I use these little very thin Velcro dots. They're very thin and fine, and they're nice for little projects like this if you just want a little enclosure or a little... Oh, you know what I did? I stamped it in the wrong direction, didn't I? Oh, I guess we got to do that again. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to trim this down. We'll just go with it rather than... I want to take a sec. There. When in Rome, fudge it. Okay. So we have these little Velcro dots, and I put a link on my blog as to where you can get them and what they are. And this is what they look like. They're Velcro 3/8 inch thin Velcro dots, and they come with a I don't know, what do you call it? I call them the fuzzy side and the grippy side? I don't know. But I find if you put the part that has, they have, as you know, Velcro has the scratchy end and the soft end. I usually find that if I put the scratchy end on this side and then put the soft end to it, it opens a little easier. So I'm going to keep those together. I'm going to peel off the protective sheet from the scratchy end and stick it down here and push that in really good. And I'm carefully peeling off the protective sheet on the fuzzy end. I can get my fingers underneath it. Peel that off. You want to keep them stuck together so that you know they're lined up. Then bring down your piece, really push down hard, and then gently pick it up. You'll find that after a while it'll be easy to do, but so there you go. So I'll have a link to those as well on my blog. So there's my little gift card holders. They're cute for a kid. You could send them to a grown-up just for something fun with an Amazon card or something grown-up card, some type of grown-up card. So I hope you like that. Remember, if you place a $35 order or more using my hostess code by March 28th, I'll send you the supplies for my Stamp Club projects, which are listed on my blog. I'll put a link here too. I'm doing that every month, so you can join my virtual stamp club. No commitment, no, have to do it every month or anything like that. But I hope you like this little project and get a little more out of your cupcake stamps and dies. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.